Allegiance.
It is.
God, I don't know if anybody else saw it or not.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, I will call the meeting to order. We have Supervisor Belt on the phone. The rest of us are in attendance. Thank you all for making the drive in. We will begin with the consent agenda. Have you all had a chance to review it?
I will make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion by Shea, second by Jorgensen to approve the consent agenda. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you very much. The next item is recognition of January 9th, 2024 as National Law Enforcement Appreciation Day. We have two representatives from our Sheriff's Office here with us today. Do you want to give us your names, please?
John Cool, Lieutenant of Uniformed Patrol Division.
Thank you, John.
Corporal Lee Volkins with the Potawatomi County Sheriff's Office, the Court Security Division.
Excellent. Well, thank you. January 9th has been designated as National Law Enforcement Appreciation Day. As such, I would like to say a few words. Potawatomi County is blessed with a sheriff's office that is staffed, trained, equipped, and prepared to respond to any threat when public safety is compromised.
Hello.
Regardless of title, position, or location, each member of the sheriff's office plays an important role. In light of the tragic school shooting Thursday in Perry, Iowa, our own backyard, today's recognition is especially heartfelt. On behalf of the Potawatomi County Board of Supervisors.
Can't hear the board though, can you?
No, I ain't heard anybody else.
You can't hear us.
Text Mitch and see what we have to do.
He said to
Let me
use
try
star
texting
one.
Becky again.
Yeah, mostly stop talking while we're there.
Yes.
Go ahead, Susan.
Okay. On behalf of the Potawatomi County Board of Supervisors, I would like to thank the deputies on road patrols, deputies performing security detail within the courthouse, our 911 communication center, those engaged with law enforcement at the jail, school resource officers, and those performing administrative tasks behind the scenes in support of our sheriff's office. We also recognize our partners with the Carter Lake Police Department, Avoca Police Department, and Council Bluffs Police Department. We understand your work is difficult. You accept risk unconditionally and make sacrifices for each of us. Thank you for your service to Potawatomi County on National Law Enforcement Appreciation Day. And if you could pass that on to your coworkers, that would be tremendous.
Absolutely, thank you.
Thanks for all you do.
Hey, John, were you out last night at all?
No, I was not.
Are you out today?
I am out today, yes, sir.
How's the rest of the roads? Marginal?
Yes, sir. The gravel roads are not great, but that takes time. I would say by probably Wednesday afternoon, those will be a lot better. But the highways, major thoroughfares like Mahogany, they get to us pretty quick, they're okay.
Good.
I've seen a lot of trucks out
They're
towards us.
They're
They were
getting after
working
it,
hard.
so bless their hearts, they got a heck of a mission ahead of them, so.
Yes.
Oh, really? Oh, boy.
Oh, it's more on Thursday. More snow on Thursday.
All right, do we have Scott and Mitch yet?
Can you guys hear us?
Hello.
Scott, can you
We
hear us?
can't hear you, or we can hear you.
They want another cookie.
I wonder if we should try calling their cell phones.
We can't have people. I don't think so.
Do you want me to do one of them on my phone?
I'll call Scott on mine if you do Mitch on yours.
You can use that one and have them call into that line or call them on their cell phone there. You don't have to use your cell phone.
Okay.
Scott would be the main one.
All right. Now you gotta tell me how to work the phone.
Okay, just
You put it on speaker?
Yep, now dial it.
You have to
do it one at a
Thank
time.
you for
So-
calling the Potawatomi County Conference Line.
Then I
If
know
you
it's
are just listening to the conference call, just stay on the line. If you wish to speak during the conference call, press star and then 1 upon entering the conference call to unmute your microphone.
There is currently one other participant in the conference. Please, you are now unmuted.
Now they're unmuted.
Can they hear us now?
Scott,
Scott is on the telephone, right?
I'm on, when you just called me,
Okay, we've got you on the speakerphone. So we've got you on the speakerphone here, so you can hear us.
I can't get on the other phone then?
Right, you can disconnect it, it's not working. So stay here,
Okay,
but lose the other one.
okay.
And we're ready to talk to Lee Voss. All right, we got the technical.
ideal Garfield.
All right, so next on the agenda is Lee Voss, County Treasurer, discussion and/or decision to approve and authorize board to sign resolution number 10-2024, a resolution approving the increase in the depository limit for the treasurer's office. Total maximum deposit under the resolution is $220,900,000, authorizing the county treasurer to invest $5 million into Mid-States Bank in a 7-month CD.
Hi.
Hi, Lee.
Hi.
I think it's time that we need to expand our wings. They had a interest rate that's went down in the last, since I've discussed with them, but it's up 5%.
Mhm.
So I think just for the time being, we'll just go 7 months to see how we do and go from there. But we have to raise our resolution, and we have to raise all monies in our regular bank, so that needs approval. So
We had to raise it.
we have to raise it because we've only have a cushion of 200 million.
Okay,
So we have to raise it because I'm gonna put, 5 million in this, and then when we get our interest and everything, then it's gonna increase more in our regular account.
okay.
So we need to raise that.
I would make a motion to approve resolution number 10-2024 to increase the depository limit.
I'll second it for discussion.
Okay,
Lee, that, when you're looking at the 7-month CD, did you talk with American where we have the money and they couldn't match? Okay.
No.
And then the other banks that are noted in the, as a depository,
Mhm.
we don't have any funds in those banks, do we?
No.
Okay. What's the reasoning that, they even have to be identified then?
Because if we ever do, and we have had money in those banks before. Now, I don't know if we can change it, but I don't think you'd want to, because there's always that advantage that you could put money in that. Of the, banks around us and everything, but we used to have money in those banks years ago, long time ago,
That would be, that would,
1970,
well, I
77.
just don't see how that would be beneficial for you as in your accounting department and.
They don't
and-
like that.
No.
When you spread your worth out. It's hard, in accounting, and you have to reconcile all the time, and if you had 32 banks, it's just not easy with that amount of money.
So,
But,
go ahead, I'm sorry.
go ahead.
I say the goal is to deposit in the bank that has the best interest rates. Is that correct?
They came to me.
Oh, they came to you, okay,
Yes.
all right. And so they announced their increase in interest.
Right, right.
Okay, all right.
I mean, I don't have any issues with anything that you're doing, of course.
And why we are at where we are at, it's because of the volume of money, and they're about the only ones that can, they were the only ones that could hold that amount of money. But I think the other banks are, slowly growing, and I think, someday somebody else could accommodate us.
Okay.
And back in the day, we used to have, the motor vehicle part at one bank, and then the, real estate and everything was at another bank. And that just seemed like it was just more work than it was worth. So,
Mhm.
we combined them all to one, but.
And we're mainly running with the one right now.
Right.
And this
And
is
so
our,
are all the other departments. I mean,
Okay.
They're all at the same bank too.
Okay.
When American National was in, they said that, all of our money was insured, and if they went bankrupt, all of
Right.
our money is guaranteed.
Right.
Is that the same situation with Mid-States?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
For what we have now. I mean,
We don't have anything in there right now.
Right, we don't have anything, but they can cover that. But then they also said that they're growing and that they probably could cover a lot more.
Fiscal management of our funds is a huge responsibility, and thank you for navigating it. It's a
Good team.
department of many.
Good
Yeah.
team.
Well, it's not an easy task for the finance department to have 30-some, 40-some accounts to monitor daily. And when other departments bring money in and, we have to deal with, bad checks for everybody. We have to deal with, this line item. We have to deal with wrong one, and the money gets put here, and the money gets put here, and it shouldn't be, and it should be put here. It's a lot. It's a lot to, but we have a wonderful team. And we all work together, and we all know what to do, and if somebody's gone, we all can handle it. Even me.
Very good.
Good job.
All right, so we have a motion by Shea, second by Wickman to pass resolution number 10-2024. Becky, will you do a roll call, please?
Yes, ma'am. Madam Chair Miller,
Yes.
Supervisors Belt,
Aye.
Supervisor Wickman,
Aye.
Supervisor Shea,
Aye.
and Supervisor Jorgensen.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we gotta go.
Thank you.
Gotta go count money.
Move it around.
Thank you for letting me do it.
All right, next on the agenda is Matt Wilbur, County Attorney. Discussion and/or decision on pay for Attorney 2.
All right, so if I'm starting somebody ahead of the beginning of the steps, then I've got to get board approval before they get onboarded. So that's really the purpose of this. I'm happy to talk generically about attorney pay if you want to do that now. I certainly plan on doing that during my budget study session next week. I have had several vacancies in the office, as I'm sure you are aware. Lost a few pretty good senior prosecutors, and I've basically got everybody hired. I have 3 brand new attorney 1s. One's already been onboarded, 2 are coming on the 23rd. When I posted for the attorney 2 position, I got 1 applicant and not a greatly qualified person for that position. So that put me in a little bit of a tough spot, because I really needed to have that position filled. I reached out to Dan McGinn, who worked for me for a long time. He worked in the county attorney's office actually for 24 years, but about 16 of those were with me. And I sort of lured him back into the office. I had to give him some promises on job assignments because one of the reasons he left is because he was stuck doing full-time child sex abuse cases, and that's one of the others that I just lost. I mean, it's a burnout job anyway. And so Dan's willing to take some of those. He's not willing to take all of those. But I want to bring him back in at the top of the pay scale. So I don't know if that's step 11. That was a conversation I had with him. He's been doing decent in private practice. I mean, I'm not pretending like this isn't a good move for him as well, because this will help certainly for his IPERS, for him to come back in. But this isn't going to affect my budget at all. In fact, it may help it a little, because I'm replacing, this is basically my Mimi position. I'm replacing a top attorney two with a top attorney two. He just won't have longevity pay. So, I mean, I'm actually, it's a little better than a budget neutral choice, but for me to bring him in, that was the price of admission. So I'm asking for board approval to bring him in at the top of the pay scale. Jenna here, I think
No.
that's 11 is the step. That's my understanding that we have sort of, we call it the bucket, no, step 12, but I think it's step 11. So I'm asking permission to bring Dan back into the office as attorney 2, step 11.
What is the pay scale on that?
Right now, I believe it's 121,000 a year. I don't know off the top of my, well, actually I can find it here real quick.
What's the first?
5810, that is that's the current hourly rate for step 11.
What is step 1?
4539.
How long has he been gone, Matt?
5 years, 6 years. As I get older, time compresses, but I feel like it's 5 or 6. And I'm not sure I'm going to keep him for long term either. I mean, I know he's been, in practice longer than I have, but I think I'll get him for 3 to 5 years for sure. And that certainly gives me a chance to get my new hires, hopefully find somebody that's ready to, get up to speed. And I always prefer to promote from within when I can do that. I just don't have the crop of attorney ones. I mean, I've promoted Lindsay in my office. She was attorney 1. I just promoted her, so she's now pretty junior attorney 2. I will be promoting another attorney in the office in the next few months. That's an attorney 1 to attorney 2. But I got to bring in young attorneys to take over the caseload. And I didn't have a lot of applicants for attorney 1, but I got lucky and I had some really good applicants. So
We got lucky when you
well,
hired
this
Kristen.
is another one that I didn't get any applicants for the civil attorney 2 position either, and I sort of recruited pretty hard. I mean, that's the downside of where I'm at now for my senior positions. I mean, people are not asking to come work for us. I'm having to go out and find them.
Move.
Good news is I think I'm somewhat of a decent salesperson. So I managed to, after a few conversations with Kristen, I was able to get her on board. Sort of the same thing with Dan.
We've talked about you having difficulty getting people, so.
Well, it's not, I mean, like I said, this is on topic. I just recently received a law review article from the County Attorneys Association and just said the prosecutor vacancy crisis. I mean, this is not an issue that we're dealing with alone. This is a nationwide issue. It's a statewide issue. Some of it is cultural. Law schools are certainly chock full of members from the Innocence Project, that are talking about how horrible our criminal justice system is. We don't really have a good marketing arm on the prosecution side, trying to explain that if you want to do justice, we're the place to be. Some of it's financial. Obviously I can't compete. I mean, one of the attorneys I just lost, I want to talk to the board, and I was planning on doing it next week, about what's happening in my office as far as losing attorneys to other government jobs. That's a problem for me. I should not be getting outbid by the city attorney's office for Council Bluffs. I should not be getting outbid, by state or, federal, government jobs. I don't blame Paul that I lost. I mean, he's taken over a private law firm and more than doubled his salary overnight. We can't compete with private practice. I mean, it's the people that come to work for me are not ones that are particularly money motivated. I mean, obviously we all want to make a good living, but I mean, you can make so much more money out there in private practice. I can't compete with those. But I do think it's starting to be a problem when I'm losing attorneys to, other, government agencies. And honestly, I do the same thing. One of my new hires is coming to me from Woodbury County because we pay $10,000 a year more than they pay. So I was able to poach him. He's a brand new, attorney up there, but, if I can steal you, I will steal you. If people can steal from me, they will steal from me. I mean, that's the way it goes.
Yeah.
And the attorneys have to make those decisions. Our pay scales, I mean, I was just sort of looking up. I can see on the County Attorneys Association website, I get a salary survey, from the County Attorneys Association every year that tells me sort of where the range is for assistants that are currently working. I can also look on their job board so I can see what pay is starting. And our attorney ones are not that far off. I mean, they start, I think they start in my office at, and I can just tell you what the.
Is that gonna be your discussion?
Yeah, we'll talk about that next week for sure.
Okay.
But we're about 10,000 down for attorney twos. I mean, that's from where other comparable offices are starting. We're about 10,000 down. I can make an argument that we're a little down for my attorney ones as well. I've been working with Jana. She just yesterday afternoon sent me sort of a proposal to take a look at on shifting maybe the attorney pay scales. And I'm trying to fold that into my current budget, which is why I wanted to talk to you about, during budget study session, because I think I've got a pretty good plan that still pretty well keeps my budget flatlined, other than whatever increases you'd be giving everyone else. Some of that is bad for me. It's because when I replace an attorney two that's making $121,000 a year with an attorney one that's making $76,000 a year, that frees up a lot of space in my budget pretty quick. And it's happened to me 3 times. So, I do have some room in the budget to talk about this year. So I think this is a good year for us to take a look at those, sort of steps and grades for the attorneys.
So you want a motion, Matt, to hire this individual at step 11?
That's what I want, yes.
I'll move that for you.
I'll second.
Okay.
I'll second. I know how important it is to have competent people in representing the county and doing county work, so.
Well, I've got good, I hate losing these folks, they're good. I get the opportunities, I've got really good, like my support staff, they've been here forever. We have really, experienced, long-term support staff. My attorneys, for the most part, I've got pretty decent longevity. But yeah, when I'm losing Mimi to the city attorney's office, that hurts. I lost Shelley a few years ago to the U.S. Attorney's Office, that hurts. I lost Christine to the State Attorney General's office, but then when I had an Attorney 3 position open, I was able to steal her right back. But it's like, if we are not, competitive with those positions, that's where it causes us problems. I have another one of my attorneys that I know has applied with the State Attorney General's office. I think I've induced that one to stay, but the point is it's completely a pay, issue.
Do you have any problems hiring, recent graduates from law school? Anything like that? Do you tend not to do that, or?
No, I would like to do that. I just, right now, losing some of the attorney twos gave me an opportunity to get attorney ones on board. But I used to get 70, 80, 100 applications for an open attorney one position. I got 5, this last time. And, one of those was honestly not qualified for that position, was qualified for a more senior position, discussed that with that attorney about bringing it in as a 2, and I got outbid by the State Public Defender's Office. So, once again, I'm losing, in that range. But that really left me with 4 applicants for 3 openings, at the attorney one level. And that is, I can't believe how lucky I was to get the ones that applied because that, normally, that'd make me very nervous. I don't want your qualifications to come work for me that you have a pulse and a law license. I want to have, folks that are, that want to be there and good quality candidates. I feel very blessed about the 3 that I was able to get in, but I really also feel like we dodged a bullet. It could have been very difficult with only that level of applicants.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Scott, I'm hoping you could hear what Matt was saying.
Yeah, I'm catching on. He's gonna bring on another attorney, and Dan again, I remember him, and he said he'll bring more to the budget session next week, so.
Okay, so you didn't have any other questions for Matt?
No, I know it's difficult out there right now, so.
All right, is there additional discussion?
No.
I will have just a second after we vote.
Okay, so we have a motion by Wickman, second by Shea, by Jorgensen.
Yeah.
Both said it about the same time.
Yeah.
To approve the hiring of an attorney 2 at step 11. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you, appreciate
So,
it.
Matt, when you come next week, are you gonna be able to provide us with some comparables for, other
Other
county
counties?
attorneys? Right.
Yep.
Okay, and then I'm sure you're aware, your office isn't the only one that's struggling to get applicants.
Oh, no, I absolutely understand that.
I mean, the sheriff, the jail, 911, I mean, we're,
I think it's an issue, I mean, honestly, I hate to say this, I think it's an issue for law enforcement, period. I mean, it's not just, I mean, my office isn't law enforcement, but we're law enforcement adjacent. You know, but I think, you know, right now, just finding service-minded people is hard. You know, my job's a lot easier because we're normal day work. I mean, you gotta find people that are willing to go out and work, you know, 2 a.m. shifts and they get stuck working on Christmas and weekends. I mean, it's hard to get people in. And if you can make more at Menards, right, than you can in being a 911 operator, why would you wanna deal with the stress of people dying on the phone with you, on Christmas when you could just work the assembly line at the Menards plant? I mean, it's hard, so I 100% understand where we're at. It's a very difficult time.
Thank you, Matt.
Thank you.
Kristen, keep up the good work.
It's gonna bail, but we'll still here.
All right, next on the agenda, we have Mark Shoemaker, discussion and/or decision on appointments to fill vacancies on the Conservation Board.
Yeah, currently we have 2 open positions. One was vacated when Kelly Dix resigned. So that position, that appointment would complete her term, and that ends on 2026. And the first one, my recommendation would be to reappoint Chris Ruhock. He has an interest in staying on the Conservation Board. I think the board has all the applications, or they were forwarded to you, so you were able to look at them. My next recommendation would be to, we're supposed to be gender balanced, so there's 3 applicants that would fill that void on our board. So it's Brittany McGee, Antonio Kripke, and Laura Schaefer would be those applicants to fulfill our gender balance or get more towards the gender balance on our board. Some background on Brittany, she works in public health. She's applied for a few of our conservation jobs and it just has not worked out. I know she wants to get involved in conservation and she has kind of a passion for conservation. I'm kind of leaning towards her, but it's up to the Board of Supervisors to do what you want to do, so.
I'm kind of looking for your recommendation.
one of them has to be a female, right, Mark?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to appoint Chris Ruhock and Brittany McGee to the Conservation Board.
Chris and who?
Brittany McGee.
So those are all residents of Council Bluffs, or you've got one from Underwood?
We have Eric Huff and Mary Kramer are outside of Council Bluffs.
Okay. Because I remember when you spoke at the town hall about bringing somebody from the rural side of the county in.
Yeah, I would still like to do that, but it's just, and I think we will at some point. We always have someone going off the board every year, so. That's the rotation that we're in.
So
Chris has been on there a long time.
Yeah, I think this is gonna be his 4th term.
And the term is 5 years or 6 years?
5 years.
Okay. So your recommendation is to replace Kelly
With
Brittany
Yep.
to fill out her term ending 2026.
Yep.
And then to renew Chris Ruhock for 5 years.
Yep.
Right. Is there additional discussion or thoughts?
I'm good.
Susan, I think you're pretty aware that, finding volunteers to serve on any of these boards is not very easy. So when you have some qualified applicants and one that's served on there for a number of years, one that's young, brings some different ideas in, I think that's the way to go. And I agree with you that we need to find some rural people, however they need to apply.
And we did have one. We did have one.
I know.
So they're starting to listen to me.
Yeah, and he would have been a good one too, so. I'll definitely keep him in mind when we start having more turnover, so.
Or maybe reach out to him when we need volunteers at Bonneville.
There you go, yep.
Good.
All right, well, I'm looking for a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Tim made the motion.
Oh,
Second.
sorry. Pay attention, don't I?
We're doing great.
All right, so we got a motion by Wickman, a second by Shea to fill the vacancies on the Conservation Board with Kelly Dick, or with Brittany McGee replacing Kelly Dix, and for Chris Rohak for a renewal of his term. Additional discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you very much, Mark.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mark.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, Mitch, are you with us?
Yep, I'm still here.
Mitch, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can. Can you hear me?
Yes. So next on the agenda is Mitch Kai, Chief Financial Officer, discussion and/or decision to authorize the chairperson to sign the forgiveness portion of the small town forgivable note for Trainer.
All right, so this is the first one to come in. We have a few of the other towns that are pretty close to coming in as well. But Trainer submitted, I think you've seen the documentation as well, that kind of shows that they completed their city hall renovation and all that. So basically this is just authorizing Susan here to sign the forgiveness portion of it. And then we can be done with Trainer and move on to the next town.
Wait, how much was that?
125.
So yeah, 125,000 went to each town. So this
Okay.
is forgiving the full 125,000.
All right. I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Did you see that, Kristen?
I did.
You okay with it?
I am.
Awesome.
All right, motion by Shea, second by Jorgensen to authorize the chair to sign the forgiveness portion of the small town forgivable note for Trainer. Is there additional discussion? Scott, anything you wanted to say?
No, it's good to see them finishing up projects.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Thank you.
Good morning, Dixie.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Mitch. Okay, next on the agenda, we have Dixie Wilson, Accounting Technician, Auditor's Office. Discussion and/or decision to approve, disallow the following applications made to the Assessor's Office. Homestead, approximately 254, recommend allowed. 6 recommend disallowed. Military, 22 recommend allowed. 2 recommend disallowed. Disabled Veteran Homestead, 15 recommend allowed, 1 recommend disallowed. Family Farm, 12 recommend allowed, 1 recommend disallowed.
So in your packet, you should have had a spreadsheet that shows why the assessor is making the recommendation that they are. Are there any questions on those?
Dixie,
Yes.
Any mobile home park, that one was disallowed because the lot is rented.
Because they do not own the property, yes. They applied, but they don't pay any taxes on it, so there was nothing to allow for, because they're not even owner.
Okay, I will make a motion to approve the exemptions that were allowed and disallow the ones as listed on our report for Military Homestead and Family Farm.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion by Wickman, second by Jorgensen. Is there additional discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you very much, Dixie.
Thanks, Dixie.
Okay, next on the agenda is committee meetings from the past week or anything in general that the supervisors want to bring up for the good of the board. I'm wondering when we want to schedule a study session for the wind and solar ordinance, so we can get that back on the calendar.
The 15th is that meeting, correct?
15th is what meeting?
Ankeny?
It's the 11th, it's Thursday.
Okay, I thought there was one on the 15th.
And the 15th is a weekend.
15th's a Monday.
Okay.
I thought you wanted to wait until after that meeting on the 11th so you could
Yes.
attend that, and I think that it's certainly the board's call, but I would have just assumed that we get it on the agenda as quickly as possible and get this thing discussed.
Okay, I know it's budget season, and from a discussion standpoint, help me out here. How long do we think we'll need for our study session? 30 minutes?
For the wind and solar?
Right.
1 minute,
What was that?
1 minute for me.
No, go ahead, Brian.
Probably 45 minutes to an hour, don't you think? Really, I mean, we got some stuff to bat around.
Matt will need to be here, Pam will need to be here. There's some things that are in the recommendation from the Planning and Zoning Commission that, there's things in there we need to discuss, there's things that are not in there that we need to discuss, and we need to give Matt time to, once this board decides what the direction they're gonna go with setbacks, height of the tower, sound, that kind of stuff, gives him time to go back and put that ordinance together for final review, and then we're ready to go. I mean, we've had our public hearings, we're ready to go.
Okay.
Would that be next Tuesday? Or do you want to have a different day?
Let's plan for the 23rd. Put it on the agenda for the 23rd.
Mitch, how's our schedule look on budget study sessions?
He might have dumped off. Well, we need to have a.
There's several, excuse me, I know there's several next week.
Right.
There's not as many the following week, so that'd probably be the best time.
Okay, thank you, Becky.
Yeah, we also need to have a capital plan discussion too, so, and that needs to happen before we, in my opinion, should happen before we certify our budget.
It should, yes.
And that's not till April, so the capital plan discussion should be in early February.
I would recommend that the chair get with Mitch and set a time.
All right. There we go.
Look at the pressure. That's gonna be difficult on Thursday, isn't it? The 11th.
Yes, with the weather, yeah.
Wonder if we could do Zoom, can we?
I can look into it. I'm sure they'll
I
all,
would really like more information from them. See where we're going with that.
yeah, I'd like to know what the future is for the state.
Yeah, yes. Whatever you find out, let me know.
Okay.
No one from public comments?
So then we're done until 1.
Well, you guys were wanting to comment about, organizations,
Yes.
events we, just 2 things. I was up to Mount Crescent, a few days ago. They're doing a very good job up there. There's a lot of people up there. I think it was a very good opening weekend. And the fact that they opened, I think Thursday and Friday, they opened because of the new equipment they have up there, generating snow up there. Those new snow machines are doing a very, very good job. They were able to open at least 4 or 5 days early because of that. And also, I belong to the Trainer Optimist Club. We had, speaking Saturday morning was the school superintendent trainer. And we got to talking about Perry, Iowa, and then they really appreciate the extra deputy that we've assigned to, for the schools. And he said that, you know, they use them, they have them in class for presentations, they introduce them to student groups. They get the students familiar with law enforcement officers. He said that they're doing a very good job. So he was very appreciative of the extra deputy that was assigned to the schools. So I just let you guys know.
Good, thank you.
Did you have some reports from?
No, I didn't. I wrestled with my grandkids and hurt my back and was down for a week. I gotta learn not to do that.
And everybody saw that the secondary roads employment recognition has been pushed back a week. It's now on January 18th. And is anybody gonna be able to attend the Regional Board of Supervisor meeting that's being held in Griswold Wednesday night at 7? That was the one that I was planning to attend, but I've got a conflict.
That's
When is that? That's wrong.
Wednesday night.
Tomorrow night.
Yes, tomorrow night the 10th.
Well, their topic of their discussion is House File 718, which is what governs us now.
Right.
We haven't heard I'm not gonna go.
Okay.
We haven't heard the governor's state of the state address. We don't know what the priorities are of our legislators. I just think it's for me, it's a little premature to.
Okay. I think this was more or less an organizational meeting to just get the supervisors together from our region.
I'll be there.
To talk strategy and figure out how to keep the lines of communication open both ways with our representatives. Okay.
I'll be there, 7 o'clock,
Yes.
Griswold Community Center?
Yes.
Okay,
It's a block off of Main Street.
okay.
Anything you want to add, Scott?
No, not at this point, but are we meeting at 1 then?
Okay, well, Jana.
Yes.
1 o'clock for sure for the budget.
Okay.
Jana wants to have her closed session. It deals with wages, and we really need to have it before we start the budget study sessions. So she was gonna try and be here by 12:30, depending on what the highways are doing. Otherwise, we can have it after the 4 sessions, or the 5 sessions this afternoon. I know the roads will get better as the day goes on, so I'm not in any hurry to rush out of here.
Okay.
Well, I think that we need to keep the discussion going on our labor negotiations, but it's not a drop dead thing that we have to do. It's not that time sensitive. But Jana can't make it in, we'll just set it up for another one.
Right, right. The question is if she'll be here at 12:30 or if we'll do it at the end. And that was something I should have mentioned when we approved the agenda, is that we canceled the closed session 7A with Kristen Brecker and Paula Hazelwood. And I forgot
Thought
to
we
do
done
that.
good getting here as much as we did.
All right.
Well, I'm gonna shoot just to plan on being there at 1 then.
You gonna scoop your driveway?
Yeah.
All right,
All right.
make a motion to adjourn.
Okay.
All right.
See ya.
I'll second. Thanks, Scott.
Motion by Wickman, second by Shea to adjourn the meeting, and we will reconvene at 1 o'clock for budget study session. Thank you.